to say that you cited satisfying partisan voters and super PACs as a problem for bipartisanship. The way I see it, a clear potential solution to those would be to put in congressional term limits so that congressmen cannot be career politicians only appealing to their left or right-wing voters to get reelected over and over, and eliminating super PACs to remove corporate money from politics. However, how can laws like these be passed through Congress when they are against the interest of the people in Congress? Don't congressmen, specifically the career politicians, benefit from the very causes of partisanship that you mentioned?
Yeah, there's some truth to that. People that have been there a long time get some benefit from their incumbency, and it's easier for them to win re-election. I would point out this, though, that more than half of the current Congress has been there for 6 years or less. So the American people actually, in my estimation, are pretty good at imposing their own term limits on people, and there is generally a pretty healthy turnover. We're going to see enormous turnover in this next election just based on the 60-plus folks that are not running for re-election. Does long-term service sometimes become a problem? It does. There are people that I serve with, sometimes I wonder how on earth their constituents sent them there. But who am I to judge? You know, they're elected by their 750,000 or so neighbors. And for that reason, I've not been a big proponent of term limits, because I think the American people actually have been pretty effective at least in the House. In the Senate, there's a lot of dinosaurs in the Senate. You know, it seems to be, partly it's because they're 6-year terms. But I think to your other point about super PACs, this is a difficult area. The Citizen United case basically said that money is speech. I've always struggled with that. I get that people use their resources to push what's important to them, and so I understand the basis of that decision. I've never found that the normal political contribution, even from political action committees, the numbers aren't big enough to sway anybody. And in fact, normal PACs align with members that already agree with their views. That's how that comes together. The problem with super PACs is you have unlimited amounts of money, and you often don't know who's contributing it and who's influencing your views. And I think that so-called dark money can have an outsized influence in politics that's difficult. And I don't know quite what we do about it. Remember, it's not corporate money. It's these super PACs are individuals. Well, it can be corporate, actually, in the super PACs. I take that back. But I think that is ripe for some reform to make sure that we don't have outsized influence by entities and people we don't even know are influencing us.
The difference, having run campaigns again for 50 years,